I'm John Fraser from the Geography Department at Binghamton University. We're here on Floral Avenue in the Village Diner with the owner, Kevin, and I have to ask him, will it be okay with you if we take this interview and put it on what we call our Story Maps video online?
Sure.
Okay, so we're good there. And now I'm going to step out because our interviewer here is going to take over.
Isabel's interviewing me?
Yes.
All right. That's it? Sure.
So, Kevin, I first want to ask you, are you a resident of Johnson City or?
I am not a resident of Johnson City, but I'm a resident of the town of Union, which is part of Johnson City. And my wife is a lifelong resident and her family of Johnson City. So I've been in the area for a solid 35 years.
And how long has the Village Diner been?
Village Diner has been here for, actually, originally it was called Harry's Snack Shack, and it was in 1959. So it's been a diner on this corner in this neighborhood for 60 years. And it's been the Village Diner for the past 8 years, and I currently have been here for 7 months as the proprietor.
So I want to talk to you about the community, the neighborhood around.
Sure.
So is there any problems or issues that you think there are in the area from Main Street to Floral Avenue?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest problem is the level of poverty that is in the area, and we have a lot of detached landowners that rent to people who they're particularly not in the area. So even the income that they're getting isn't getting back into the community where it should be going. So
What we call an absent
landlord, absolutely. And Johnson City and this area in particular has always been a great area. We have the Floral Ave Park. It's been a park for a long time that people utilize. We have the fire department right across the street. It just seems to be that a lot of the wrong element has moved into the area, and there hasn't been a lot done to get rid of that.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the Health Science Campus. As you know, the Health Science Campus is being built in Johnson City.
Right.
We already have the pharmacy school, which has been there for just about a year, and now
Sure.
they're redoing the nursing school next to it. There's going to be a couple of other buildings being remodeled, and there's been a couple of demolitions. So do you think there's positive or negative impacts that this Health Science Campus is going to have in Johnson City?
Personally, I feel it can be nothing but positive. Any industry or influx into the community is welcome, especially with BU. In times before we were driven by industry, and now the school really generates a lot of revenue for the area, and anything that we can do to keep that. We're Division I. It's fantastic, and the school being built down there is great. I have a lot of friends that own properties off of Main Street in Johnson City. I have a few people that are redoing their businesses over there. Particularly, a friend of mine owns the Dancescapes in the building, Kenny Monaco, and they've done a great job over there. It's just, I feel like the renaissance is coming, and everyone just needs to do the right things to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I wanted to add that there's expected to be 900 to 1,200 people between students, faculty, and staff to come into the area. How do you feel about that?
I feel fantastic about it. Could be good. It could be good for my business, but more for me also is if there is an influx of business for me, what that means to me is I'm a small proprietor. I employ 11 people who depend on me and the community for their income, and if we can increase that, that means I can offer more opportunity to a local person to come in and work, or more hours for people who are currently here, which it all just spreads. So that's for me, it's great. There are no negatives to that school coming for me.
So what problems should the village of Johnson City address to, keep those positive effects positive?
Well, I think the big thing we need to do is change some of the locals people imagery of what BU means or what the students are, that they're not a nuisance, and that it's good for them to come to us, that they're going to take a little part of Johnson City or Binghamton with them when they go, The problems for me is obviously there's a high rate of crime right now in this area that needs to be addressed. A lot of it is displaced landlords, like we talked about, who aren't monitoring the properties and just renting to anyone who, you know, they can get a check from DSS. They don't have to be accountable for anything that they're doing, and they just damage things and move on to the next person that'll rent from them. So property values drop. So if I'm a business owner, which I am, or a property owner, there needs to be an incentive for me to take better care of my building and property to help the greater good, you know. And some of the problems I see is, you know, they're letting that element take over. Like they've canceled the Johnson City Field Days, which I think is a terrible idea. Because, and the reason was they didn't want to police it, and there's been a lot of trouble at the event. But there's, instead of just stopping it, there's ways around that. Have it end earlier. Have, you know, there's many things we could have done. I just found out that this pool right across the street is not opening this summer, which
It's damaged.
it's.
Yeah.
But we should be able to fix that. And they said the reason behind it is because kids threw garbage in it. Well, you know, if we could do a better job of policing it, they're over here all the time. You know, I just think that's a bad idea. The kids need a place to go, or it's just going to get worse. And when the good give in to the troublesome because it's more work, that's never good. We have to, you know, I don't want to say rise up, but in a way, you know, we got to rise up and say, hey, I'm not. If I'm a private citizen, I see somebody screwing around over there, I should be able to go over and say, hey, listen, knock that off, or I'm gonna call the cops on you, or whatever it is. I'm not promoting vigilantism by any means, but for me, you know, I would love to see, in particular, this corner after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night in the winter. You know, people don't want to be around here, and that kind of dictates my hours of operation. So, you know, it's one washes the other. You gotta. There's always somebody has to put up an extra effort to get things going in the right direction. You know, and for me, the school coming down here to Corliss Ave is all positive, all positive.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're very happy to be here and to be able to add you to our story map.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks, Isabel.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.